If you were moving into your first apartment, why would you rent one that was empty when for a few dollars more, you can move into one that's fully furnished? Of course, one reason might be that it lacks your individuality. But what if I were to tell you that 1 year you can spend living in New York City, the next in Colombia, and the one after that off of the coast of Italy? You don't have to worry about moving your stuff that you accumulate because you don't own anything. That's the direction that we're heading in. And of course, digital nomads is just one example, but we're trending towards owning nothing. But don't worry, you will be happy, at least temporarily.
Customers today, they don't want to buy products, right? Why buy a DVD if you can get any movie you want from a Netflix?
The #1 streaming giant reporting quarterly revenue of $8.5 billion.
Why buy a car even if you can get from point A to point B with services like Uber or Zipcar or City Bikes here in New York City?
A new car trend is emerging. It says that you'll see more people turning to vehicle subscriptions. I've never heard of this, Dan.
I know.
For the last 2 decades or so, we've programmed ourselves to trade money for convenience. And if it's not money, we trade our privacy. In the short term, it's convenient that Google knows where we're driving to before we program the address. But it's not until our morning after regrets that we realize how much we're being taken advantage of. However, we snap out of that pretty quickly when our phone screen breaks. We say, thank God for Apple Care, because it's not our phone screen. We don't own the phone. Our phones are rented and then traded in at the end of the year for a shiny new one when our old ones work just fine. Our cars are leased, our music is leased, movies, and the software we use for work is leased. How did this come to be, and where is it going? In the early months of the pandemic, the World Economic Forum hosted an event called The Great Reset, where a bunch of business moguls from around the world get together in Geneva, Switzerland, and they talk about global affairs and economics.
Don't want to go back to the status quo that you had before simply because it was the status quo that got us here.
The founder of this organization, his name is Klaus Schwab, and he coined the phrase, "You will own nothing and you will be happy." And what he meant by that is that someday, really soon, stores won't exist anymore. You'll have everything you've ever wanted ready to deliver to you at your fingertips, and you're not gonna buy it. You're going to rent it.
I just got my new Stately shipment in. Stately is a clothing service for men who want to look and feel good without actually having to go shopping.
If you guys know of any clothing subscription boxes that just send you like the most wild and crazy pieces, because I would love to try them out.
In a world where image is everything, you're not gonna be caught dead posting 2 photos in the same bathing suit. But don't worry, we'll take care of that because clothes will be delivered to you every new season or even every month, where you just trade in your old ones and you get fresh new ones. And you never own clothes. You never have to wear the same thing twice. You could just constantly have a new stream of things because it's cheaper than buying it and owning it. And all it's gonna cost is a monthly fee. And what about food? You can't possibly rent food, or can you?
Never run out again with Subscribe and Save, the convenient recurrent delivery option for thousands of products you use the most.
It's turning into that we're paying for our consumables in the same way that we rent our music and our movies and entertainment. Our vegetables, our sodas, even skincare products will deliver on your doorstep every single month. You'll never have to experience forgetting something at the grocery store because it will be delivered on a schedule. In fact, there's even a thing that you put your coffee on, and as you use up your coffee, it knows to reorder you a new one. And in many ways, this is a good thing. Everything I described is you using your brain less, but it's brainless.
It used to be that, once you got out on your own, you bought a vehicle, right? That's how Americans traditionally got around. But today, the under 40 set is blazing all new ways to travel.
If you go to Porsche Drive, you can subscribe. I think it's $3,500 a month. It'll give you access to, I think it's 6 or 8 models. You can swap out cars as much as you want. They pay insurance, they pay everything. People say, well, how's it different than a lease or buying a Porsche? It's not tied to a car. You're subscribing to Porsche. You now have a one-to-one relationship with Porsche.
Many voices in alternative media are coming to the same conclusion that this for rent economy is shifting money towards the elites that hate us. And while it's absolutely true that the money is leaving the hands of small to medium-sized business owners into these international tycoons that are driving this for rent economy, it's untrue that they hate us. because money is powerful and they want to earn our money. So they create things that give us more value than that dollar we have to give them is worth. There's a story that we tell ourselves before every time we exchange money for goods and services, and that story is this thing going to give me more value than the value of this money that I spent to earn? But what if you don't have to have that altercation in your mind before every purchase because you're subscribed to something that just shows up and you never even have to look at your bank statement? My friend has a subscription to water filter replacements, and of course I asked her why. And she said, well, I'm gonna need them eventually, so they might as well show up every 3 months when I do. And sure, that might sound weird, but it's not too far off from somebody wanting a bright new shiny car every 2 to 3 years, and then they don't have to worry about it breaking down. And these types of people tell themselves that a car payment is just a way of life. The word just is how we accept these decisions in our lives, because it's easier to submit than it is to resist and think of an alternative way of living. So the billionaires that are building this for rent economy that we're lining the pockets of, they don't have a vendetta against us. They're not our oppressors. They're giving us exactly what we're asking for. And all they want to do is earn our money. And the way they realize that they can do this is by lifting the burden you feel from making decisions on your own. The decision fatigue that you feel. They give you the opportunity to buy back your time, and all it costs you is money. In most cases, that sounds like a really great deal. You wouldn't buy it if it wasn't. We trade our money for the convenience of saving time, but we don't spend that newfound time on something enriching. We just grab the closest thing to us to give us the dopamine fix. And oftentimes, it's more consumption. Think about it. We live in a world that demonizes boredom. The moment you're bored, something must be wrong. The thought of living without a constant stream of stimulation is abhorrent, because the worst thing that can happen to us is sitting alone in a room with nothing but our own thoughts. One subscription to music or water filters is not going to break you. It's when you compound these things and you purchase without thinking through them intentionally that it begins to suffocate your life. Instead of working to live, you work to keep up with your payments. What kind of way of life is that? Instead, we could choose to just live. All we need to do is wake up. If you feel woken up, feel free to subscribe to this channel. It's free, or is it? It might just be more clutter in your inbox. I'll let you decide that. I hope to provide you videos that allow you to pursue an alternative way of thinking and living your life. Thank you for watching.